Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. Friends, we had some weakness in both European as well as US markets. European markets are actually cooling off after 3 days of smart rally ahead of the ECB meet which is scheduled for Thursday. And US markets were also soft because again we have a Fed meeting coming up on Tuesday. And the street is clearly divided about the expectations that one can have from the Fed meet. Though a lot of people have expectations that Fed would really do something, but the timing of that particular bailout or policy action is something which is not clear at this point of time, and a majority of the people believe that this will not happen in the month of August, so it might actually get prolonged. And in a way, if you just think about it, it's good for emerging markets in India, because if you have a aggressive policy action, then it could result into some kind of a spike in the commodity prices and crude, which would definitely not be that great from our perspective. So whatever is happening is actually not bad from our perspective. When we look at the Asian markets today, most of them are slightly weak because we had July PMI data from China, which was a bit disappointing. On a month-on-month basis, it has registered some decline, so which is having some kind of an effect on the Asian markets. When we look at the flows, it continues to be strong. FIs were biased to the tune of 880 crore in the cash market, and domestic institutions were sellers to the tune of 493 crore. So back to back for third or fourth day, we are seeing a net buying in the cash market in excess of 800 crore, which is definitely a big positive for our markets. On that note, let me invite Shaival to take us through important F&O cues and the possible strategy that we can have. Hi Shaival, good morning.
Good morning.
We are seeing some steady movement in the market, and it's holding the important levels pretty well. And IVs, as I believe, continues to be weak. So where do you see the major action taking place?
See, the concentration of the open interest has been taking place in the strikes of 5,200 call option and 5,300 call option. Whereas on the lower side, what we have seen is that 5,100 put option stands with the highest number of shares in the open interest. Apart from this, we have seen that out of the money call and put option has also seen a registration of good activity in the open interest. Likewise, on the higher side, we have seen 5,600, and on the lower side 4,900, followed by 4,800. So we have also seen that as expected, there was nothing major announcement from the RBI in its monetary policy. So because of which there was no trigger point for the market to take a clear direction. What we feel is that the bias for the market is still negative, and we may see the momentum continuing on the higher side as the taking support from the global markets. But 5,300 would act as a hurdle and resistance for the market, or we can say market selling pressure would come in at that level, because the weekly VWAP is placed at 5,300. So a bias for the market is still negative, and we have been seeing that continuous short positions have been accumulated with every rise in the market from past 2 to 3 trading sessions.
So can we say that 5,000 to 5,300 could be a broad range that one could look at, and if you see some spike in the market towards 5250 or 5300 levels, one could really look at shorting the market with a stop loss slightly above 5300.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We have been seeing that from past couple of trading session, or we can say from the July series, we have been seeing that market has been trading in this broader range, as you mentioned, 5,000 and 5,300. So yes, definitely if one gets an opportunity that if Nifty is trading near to 5280 or say 5,300 level, that are the good shorting levels, and the stop loss can be placed bit higher above 5,300 levels.
Also, if you could talk to us about any specific trading opportunities.
See, what one can do is we have identified 2 stocks. One can buy Hindalco call option 130 strike with stop loss of 50 paisa and target of 5 and 7. As well, we have also recommended BHAIL put option 210 strike price with stop loss of 4 and target of 8 and 13.
Right, Shaival, thanks a lot for that update.
Thank you.
Friends, our markets did well yesterday with both Nifty and Sensex registering modest gains. And on the political front, we have the news that the Finance Ministry portfolio is going to be headed by P. Chidambaram, and the Home Ministry would be given to Mr. Shinde. We don't think that the market is going to react too much on these developments, as what market is focusing on is the real concrete steps on the reforms front and the way the monsoon situation is progressing. So these changes are not really going to have any major repercussions on our markets. Also friends, we had an important RBI policy meet yesterday where the policy rates have not been changed, but SLR rate has been cut for banks from 24% to 23%. But the general feel in the market is that since many of the banks are already maintaining their SLR at much above 24% level and the government is actually doing an aggressive borrowing, this kind of a step may not have any major effect in terms of the liquidity infusion, though this number is pegged anywhere from about 20,000 crore to about 40,000 crore. We have to watch and see whether it really results into any kind of a cooling off in the yields going forward. In terms of other news friends, Coal India has finally cleared the FSAs under the agreement of the draft FSAs, and it means that it will be able to assure about 80% of the supply to the power companies, and the penalty clause has been kept at the same level of 0.01%. So this is definitely positive for Coal India. So we are suggesting a long action on Coal India with a stop loss of 352 and a target of 370 to 375. Cadila Healthcare has received the US healthcare regulator's approval for launching aripiprazole oral tablets in US, which would have a positive effect on Cadila. One can go long with a stop loss of 860 and a target of about 900 to 910. Cipla actually registered extremely good set of numbers, and we think that this was much ahead of the street expectations, so one can go long on Cipla with a stop loss of 333 and a target of 348 to 352. ITC has scaled up its stake in Hotel Leela, and they've actually been acquiring shares from the open market, which has been disclosed recently. So one could go long on Hotel Leela with a stop loss of 30 and a target of about 32. Also, in an important development, the Telecom Ministry has said that there have been a lot of violations by the telecom players on the 3G roaming pacts and a few other matters. So this could have some negative implications for telecom companies. So we are initiating a short call on Bharti with a stop loss of 306 and a target of 290 to 285. Also Idea one can short with a stop loss of 81.5 and a target of 77.5. Friends, in terms of other news today, auto sales numbers are expected, where overall the month has not been good. So Tata Motors would report a 2.4% month on month decline in the numbers. Maruti's, we are looking at about 13% degrowth month on month, and similarly for Mahindra and Mahindra there is going to be a modest 5.5% growth in the automotive segment, but the tractor sales is going to register a 21% kind of a degrowth. Similarly for two wheelers, Bajaj Auto we are looking at a negative growth month on month of almost 2.9%, and Hero Honda we are looking at a negative growth of 2.6%. So because of these we expect some negative implications for the auto companies. So one could consider going short on stocks like Tata Motors, Maruti and Mahindra on the back of this. That's it from all of us friends. Have a great trading session. See you tomorrow at the same time.